Hey everyone, David here with T&D Sports Cards. Welcome to our newest video. And today we are going to do some packs that we have not done on the channel before. 81 Donruss, as you can see here. I've mentioned actually in the past some other videos that we've done that I didn't have the greatest of feelings. I remember when I first got these packs. My grandfather took us to the Five and Dime down near where they lived in Queens, and they had these in the Fleer, and I felt like they were kind of like fake cards. Like I was looking for the tops, and I didn't even know what these were. When I was going through them, I was like, these are just, they don't feel right. I guess when we went to the store, they didn't have any tops, so that's why we got the Fleer and the Donruss cards. But I have grown to appreciate these cards over time, especially the Donruss. The Fleer still has yet to kind of grow on me, the 81 Fleer. This should be fun. I mean, I know there's not like a whole ton of value in these. I think one of the Ricky Henderson cards is worth like 400 or something like that if you can find it in a perfect example. But this should be fun just to find some Stars Hall of Famers, reminisce a little bit. So let's get to it and see what we can find. And these are cool because you get a lot of cards in them. I mean, 18 cards a pack. That was a lot back then. It was either like 10, 12, or 15, depending on the year. I think as time went on, you got more upwards towards the 15 per pack. But Donruss and Fleer really wanted to push their products when they initially released them, and hence the market was pretty saturated. That's why for the most part, the value of these really is not very high. As I remember these monstrosity pieces of gum. I don't know if I'm actually gonna get it off our UL Washington here. It's not looking like it, and I'm not gonna try, but the good news is it doesn't look like it's bled through to any of the other cards. So, all right, so we will start. Well, we started with UL Washington, but the first card we can actually see is of Scott Sanderson, who, as you can tell, is with the Montreal Expos at this point in time. This picture is clearly taken at Wrigley Field, where you can actually still see the apartment buildings behind the outfield wall. These are very thin. I remember the stock, just holding these now, how thin they were, and they were kind of flimsy, and they were damaged kind of easily too. But I guess sort of from a foreshadowing standpoint, because Scott Sanderson was actually a big piece of the Cubs during their great '84 season. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna show the back. And this was another thing that I didn't like about the Donruss, is that it only showed their most recent year. The first issue here only showed 1 year, and then it had their lifetime stats below. But it looks like he had a very nice season for the Expos in 1980. All right, so our next one is Wayne Garland. And we have a George Henrik, who had one of the more upright batting stances that I can recall. And this is kind of neat. You can see on the Cardinals jersey, back then they did not have the number in the front. I know they eventually did go to having the number in the front, but I think now they might not. At least their home uniforms, I don't think, has the number below the Cardinals in the front. And we have a Tommy Lasorda. You know, this is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump back to this, but it looks like, much like Topps hung out at Shea Stadium, that Donruss hung out at Wrigley Field, at least for their National League pictures here. This Lasorda is definitely a Wrigley Field shot. I'm going to put him up there. We have Brian Downing, and this could very well be, and I'm sorry if I'm fixating on this too much here, I think that's the old Comiskey Park. So Donruss hung out in Chicago taking their pictures. This one of Brian Downing. This really does look like, I mean, this is definitely Comiskey Park because this is Steve Trout when he was with the White Sox. And funny enough, he would join Scott Sanderson with the Cubs. As I mentioned, they were both part of that rotation in the '84 Cubs team. That is a very cool picture. The uniform looks like he spent too much time in the sun, but that old White Sox uniform with the big collar, that's a piece of work. And we have Ernie Witt. Now, this was not taken in Chicago. This is probably at the old Exhibition Stadium in Toronto, where they played their first, I guess, about 11 seasons in the American League before the middle of the '89 season. They moved into the which was then known as the Sky Dome, which became Sky Dome, which I think now is like the Rogers Center. Joe Niekro, rest in peace. Phil Niekro actually passed not too long ago too. Sparky Anderson. Very badly. This actually looks like a scissor was taken too, and it's cut so mangled. Great manager of the Reds, and then I went on to manage the Tigers to a World Series as well. Brian Kingman, who was one of the pitchers that Billy Martin overused with the A's in the early '80s, but he was. I remember him throwing very hard. Look at that, 9-20. They must have thought something of him, like they always say, or 8-20. If you're allowed to lose 20 games, they must think you're pretty good. That is a very bright uniform, and again, this picture is as with the Dave McKay here, clearly at the old Comiskey Park. Tony Bernazard, for a second there, I thought that might have been the Tim Raines. The pose is almost identical, and this one is at Wrigley Field too. George Orta, Silvio Martinez, that's quite the hairdo he's got there. Darryl Thomas, and Carney Lansford, who was a very good hitter for the Angels. All right, so that was fun first pack. No, not too many big names in there. Let's see if we have this one. I don't think we have any. Oh, there it goes. I thought it was going to stay stuck to the wrapper there. Mike Torres. Now, it is solidly stuck in the middle of the card. But as I mentioned, it's nice that it hasn't bled through. All right, so we're going to start off with Reggie Cleveland of the Brewers. And, you know, it's funny, like, these cards are, like, they almost appear to be, like, different sizes, like they were cut that badly. This one's actually centered pretty well for an '81 Donruss card. Larry Parrish, who was a pretty good hitter for the Expos. The Expos were very good in the late '70s, early '80s. Just could not get to the promised land. Larry Heisel, who, if this was a 1980 Topps pack, we would be looking for a Ricky Henderson. Gene Garber. Steve Garvey, this one's pretty nice. Centered fairly well. That one is at Dodger Stadium. We have Jim Beattie, Jeff Reardon, who, you know, I remember him being like pretty decent for the Mets. I felt like they kind of just, I don't know, I think he had like one poor season. They just decided he wasn't going to pan out, but he ended up being a really good relief pitcher for a long time with the Expos and then eventually with the Twins. Ferguson Jenkins, I think this is our first Hall of Famer that we found, and this card is badly miscut. And have a badly miscut Dave Parker here as well. And the Tigers, we have Mark Wagner. And a checklist. That, again, it really, these cards almost look like somebody took a scissor and cut through the sheet and did not do a very good job. Like, why is this sticking out like that? I mean, this was so typical of Donruss. Just, these cards were just a mess. But we can rest assured that we have a UL Washington that does not have gum on it. So we can breathe a sigh of relief. So it looks like we're, at least for the couple of cards there, we had another Scott Sanderson. We have another version of the Human Rain Delay. Bill North. And Jeff Burroughs of the Braves. Yeah, we got a Bobby Mercer here with the gum on him too. And yeah, it's not coming off of it. I'll give these cards a shot in the freezer. Not that it's terribly important. So we have Dave Chalk of the Royals. That's funny. We got a Yankee and a Royal, and I say that's funny because Eric Jabs did a video where he opened a whole box of these, and all he got was Yankees and Royals. It was incredible. Every pack was just filled with Yankees and Royals, and that was it. Like, what a box. Talk about a problem with quality control. We got Bill Gullickson, who was actually a very good pitcher for the Expos through the 80s. Sid Mungie. We have Barry Bonds' dad, who hit a lot of home runs and struck out a lot. This was pretty much the end of his career. And we got a nice Ray Knight here. This card is, well, I was about to say it was centered pretty well, but it's definitely miscut. I have a Tom Donahue, Russ Baumgarten. That is just awesome. Look at that collar, like in full bloom there. And those socks too. Wow. Some uniforms. I guess that was what? That was Bill Veck's idea, right? He was the owner of the White Sox, along with his other brilliant ideas like Disco Night. Jackson Todd. Joe Sambito, who had a cup of coffee with the Mets around, like, I don't know, maybe 89, I want to say, something like that, 89. It was at the very end of his career, and he was not very good for the Mets, from what I remember. He was kind of ended up being like a mop-up guy, like a middle relief guy at that point. And we have a very nice, oh, we got another nice one back there, too. This one looks, it's got a kind of a bad corner, because I was going to say otherwise, this card looks pretty decent as far as centering goes. That's a nice find there. We have another checklist. I guess that's the pattern on the checklist. Have the, whatever you want to call that, come out on the bottom right there. And this is a nice card. Oh, and there's another nice one behind it too. But again, really miscut. But that's cool. Very nice finding a George Brett. And finding a Gary Carter, rest in peace. And, you know, I don't remember who it was a ways back, and I've commented on it, is that, like, Gary Carter just, he was blessed with having some great, great baseball cards. I mean, really, so many of his cards are just incredible action shots. You know, this one joins the list. I don't specifically remember this card, but that's a really nice shot. And we got a Ron Hassey, Jeff Fulgham, and Rick Monday. All right, so this was pretty fun, especially that last pack. We got a bunch of really nice Hall of Famers in it. At least 3. I guess 3's a bunch, right? Unfortunately, pretty much all these cards, as the Donruss cards were just so badly miscut. But I want to thank you guys so much for taking another stroll down memory lane here. This was a lot of fun. First time we've done these on the channel, so this was cool. So if you're new to the channel, you know, please join us. We try to have fun, try to show some cool old stuff here. We'd love to have you come along, and I guess we'll see you guys. Well, we'll see. We got the holiday this weekend. Maybe we'll do a video Christmas morning. I'm thinking we might do something like that, and then of course we'll have our to this point futile chase at finding Tom Brady's rookie card once again on Sunday. So thanks again for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.